Hello, everybody. Today we're going to get an updated look at the 2024 presidential map based on the current polling. I did this at the beginning of the month. This is going to be for the middle of September. And for the most part, this is just going to be between Trump and Harris. Once everything gets completely finalized and we get more third-party polling, then we can also try to take a look at that map. But for now, this is mostly going to be the average of the aggregate polling. So that's going to be several different sources, including 270 to Win, Real Clear Politics, 538, etc. And this is the kind of thing that can change day to day, certainly week to week. So while we go over a little bit more of the background, we're going to plug in the obvious safe states. And these margins are going to be 10 or more points. Now, the thing I always point out is there are some states on here that just do not have any polling whatsoever, or some of the polling is completely outdated. The preference is to use data that's less than a couple of weeks old, definitely less than a month. So if there's no polls or it's totally outdated, then I'm just going to use the actual result from 2020. There's a lot of states that are still lacking in polling. Those are usually going to be the less competitive states, but it would still be nice to get an update in pretty much every state as we get into October. The most notable state here for Harris that's going to go safe is going to be Maine at large. Last time, Biden won it by 9, and we haven't gotten anything new out of this state this month, so we're going to use the data that we've got, and that actually is going to be safe for Harris. Now, if we look at the safe states for Trump, nothing really stands out. However, on both sides, there's going to be several states that are extremely borderline. Some of these margins are right at 10 or even 5 points. But if we go down to the more competitive states, these are going to be the likely margins of between 5 and 10 points. So first for Kamala Harris, let's go to the West Coast and get Oregon out of the way. This state, I haven't seen any new polling since the one from Hoffman Research back in July. That one had Harris only up 5 points. Last time I said I don't at all expect that margin to pan out, but we've got nothing else, so it's going to stay likely for Harris. In New Mexico, we can use some more polling here, but the one we've got from a couple of weeks ago from Redfield and Wilton Strategies did have Harris up by 5 points, but that was with third parties. The one from August with Emerson, with leaners that had that at high single digits for Harris. So that one is going to go likely. Other places with a likely rating are going to be Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District. And we've also got Minnesota. Not a surprise, her running mate Tim Walz, governor of this state. And then back on the East Coast, we actually have Maine's 2nd Congressional District. Again, we don't have any updated polling, and it would be a massive shift if this went likely for Harris. But since we're going by the polling, we are going to put this as likely. Next door in New Hampshire, it's also going to go likely for Harris. And finally, Virginia. 4 years ago, it was safe for Biden. This time, the polling is going to take it down to likely. Now, the likely states for Trump, we're going to start at Texas. This was about 6 to 7 points for Trump, so it's easily going to go likely. And we've only got one more state, that's Ohio. That's high single digits. It's also going to go likely for Trump. Now we go down to lean states. These are going to be more than 1 point, but less than 5. First for Harris, we're going to go into the Rust Belt, and we're going to give her Wisconsin and Michigan. These are close states, but for right now, they're just a little bit over 1 point margins, so we're going to put them at light blue, and they're going to go leans. Now we've got the lean states for Trump. Well, first, we're going to get Iowa out of the way. This is because of the recent Des Moines Register poll that showed it only a 4-point race. Just like in Maine, that's the only recent poll we've got. If it actually panned out, that would be a big improvement for Harris. So that 4 points makes this lean red. And then we're also going to knock off Trump's home state of Florida. This is close to going likely, but it's just not quite there. So since it's under 5, it's going to go leans. Now let's go through the rest of the states one by one. These are going to be the tilt ratings of 1% or less. Let's start in the Sun Belt in North Carolina. It's extremely close, but for right now, the person picking up this state is going to be Trump. Then we've got another big swing state, Georgia. Another one completely right on the line, could easily go either way, but as of right now, the one with the slight edge here is going to be Donald Trump, all the way across into the Southwest at Arizona. So border state immigration is going to be a key issue here. After Trump won it in 16, it's clearly trended toward the left, but the polling, as of the time I'm making the video, is showing it going toward Donald Trump. A little bit northwest of there in Nevada. This is a state that's gone blue in the past several presidential elections. Republicans hoping that they can flip it this time. It's a pure toss-up, but right now the leader in the polling is going to be Kamala Harris. And finally, the last state is Pennsylvania. For right now, this is going to determine the entire election. And when I made the video, the winner of this state is going to get it by about a 0.5 point margin. The entire election hangs in the balance, but it is going to go to Kamala Harris. So that's it. The final total comes out to 277 for Harris, 261 for Trump. So many of these states are well within the margin of error. Either side could pick them up. Definitely keep your eye out on the polling once we get well into October. Sometimes there's late movement in the final few weeks, but it's also going to be highly up for debate on how accurate the polls are this time. In the past, they have underestimated Donald Trump. Democrats are going to point to the enthusiasm for Harris and the lack of a red wave in 2022. Trump hoping to capitalize on the party in power being viewed unfavorably. Everybody loves the polls when they or their candidate is ahead. It's always going to be excuses when they're behind. That's how it goes. Sometimes the polls are right, sometimes they're wrong, sometimes it's kind kind of in the middle. I'm prepared for things to change and something unexpected to happen once we actually get the final results. But that's how the map looks for the polling as of mid-September. So let me know in the comments. Do you actually think it's this close? And what do you think could change over the next 6 to 7 weeks? And which state do you most want to see some updated polling in? I'm sure Oregon and Maine, those are going to be some top candidates. But let me know what you think down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.